Howdy folks, let's play a game. I want you all to run my name. I am Oops, and I'm gonna show how to deal with problems. Here we go. Understand, plan, solve and check. Rhyme these words, it just takes a sec.
Started on the 13th of November 2013. It is set in a classroom environment. Thinking and problem solving in the classroom is our topic. We are going to focus on the issue of questioning. Vivian is going to be the class teacher. Vivian is going to run through the topic of the consumer with the students. There are three students in the class: Robert, Katrina and Patrice. Patrice is the main focus of this video.
Down now, class. Everyone ready? Okay, so today we're going to cover the consumer, okay? And in particular we're going to look at valid and non-valid complaints. Okay, so I want you to have a look up here at the board and I'll go through valid complaints with you. So first of all, a valid complaint. This is when a good is faulty or damaged, okay? It's also when a good is not as described if you buy it and it's not as it's described on the packet. A good that doesn't perform the task it's designed to do. So if you buy a certain good and it's supposed to perform a certain task and it doesn't, it's a valid complaint then, okay? And goods are not fit for purpose. Okay, so looking at the criteria up here, can you each give me an example of a valid complaint? Okay, starting with you, Robert.
I bought a new pair of football boots and I just wore them once and they ripped. So I brought them back to the shop and got a replacement pair.
Okay, example of a valid complaint.
I went to a shop and I ripped my t-shirt, so that would be faulty good.
It would be a faulty good. Okay, no, not exactly. No laughing, guys. It's a very valid point. I'm just going to point out, see a non-valid complaint here. It says the consumer caused damage to the product. So it was you that tore your jumper, so you don't have a valid complaint in that situation. Do you understand now?
Yeah.
Okay. So Katrina, seeing as you were sniggering there, give me a valid complaint.
My mum bought a freezer and it didn't freeze the food and we ended up losing loads of money.
Okay, perfect. Under which criteria does that come?
So it wasn't fit for purpose.
Okay, exactly. So you had a valid complaint in that sense. Okay, perfect.
In the previous clip, we've seen how Patrice contributed to class and her classmates rudely giggled at her answer. How did this make Patrice feel?
This made me feel stupid, but the teacher backed me up, so I felt more confident in answering more questions.
This highlights for us how positive reinforcement by the teacher can help students in their class to prevent them from feeling that their answers are inadequate.
Okay, so a non-valid complaint would be where the defect was pointed out at the point of sale. So this would be, for example, like if you're buying something in a sale and there was a tear in the jacket and they pointed out to you, so they're letting you know that it's on sale because there was something wrong with it. So the second point would be consumer changing their mind about the product. So if you buy something and you simply change your mind, you cannot do that, you don't have a valid complaint. And the third point is a consumer causing damage to the product. So like Patrice pointed out already, she made damage to her shop, so this was a non-valid complaint, she could not return the item. And the last point is a consumer buying a product without checking the suitability of the product. So this would be buying something that maybe won't fit you. Okay, so looking at the criteria, can you give me an example of a non-valid complaint, Robert, please?
So if you bought a pair of white football boots and then you changed your mind later and wanted a pink pair.
Okay.
So that's the consumer changing their mind about the product.
Very good. Okay. Patrice, you've already given us your example of a non-valid complaint. So can you now give us an example of a valid complaint instead, please?
My dog went to the toilet and was sitting. So that would be the food that did not perform the task they were designed to do.
Okay, enough of those silly answers now, Patrice. We're going to have to move on. Katrina, can you give me an example of a non-valid complaint?
I bought a jumper and when I bought it there was a button missing off it, so I brought it back then they said to me that I couldn't get a new one because they pointed it out to me at the time that I'd gotten it.
Okay, so there was a defect pointed out to you already. Okay,
yeah.
So do you understand now why that was a non-valid complaint?
Yeah, I get it now.
Okay, very good. Okay, Patrice, can you tell me the answer to that?
No. I know the answer, but I'm not answering because they're all going to laugh at me again and the teacher's going to get back to me.
As you can see from this clip, the teachers' and students' reaction to Patrice's contribution to class has affected Patrice. As Patrice knew the answer to the last question that the teacher asked, but she did not have the confidence to contribute as she felt that her answer was inadequate and she did not want to be laughed at again. At the moment, this is a small problem, but if it is left unresolved, it can lead to a huge problem and can also have a huge effect on the student's education. In relation to thinking and problem solving in the classroom, we need to come up with solutions to resolve these problems that are taking place in the classroom. The following are some solutions the teacher could use.
If expectations were outlined at the start of the lesson and all students were told to respect fellow classmates, then Rob and Katrina may not have laughed at Patrice when she was answering the question. In future, the teacher should outline expectations at the beginning of the class to ensure that pupils are aware of the behaviour that is expected of them within each lesson.
According to Woolfolk, scaffolding must be provided to give support to pupils at the outset of a task. A formal understanding is then developed and gradually the scaffolding may be withdrawn as the learner becomes more competent. In the scenario we just saw, Patrice was confused from the start what was a valid and invalid complaint. The teacher did not provide scaffolding. In future, the teacher must make sure that everyone has a full understanding before a pupil is put on the spot and asked the question.
Although I give an incorrect answer, the teacher used positive reinforcement and stopped the students from laughing at me. I felt if the teacher had praised me with the second example as she did with the first one, my confidence wouldn't have been affected and I would still be participating in the class.
Missing Patrice's second answer, it caused her to become anxious and fearful. As a result, she wouldn't participate in the remainder of the class and she was even absent the next day. This is known as the law of effect.
That's all, folks.